invite Mr. Naveen Kapoor to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Vijay Agarwal. Thank you, sir.
Good evening once again. This was an assignment I was really looking forward to today. Before I introduce Mr. Vijay Agarwal, I will take you on a backstory. About 2 months ago, we had a meeting at the Habitat where we had invited students of MSA to come out with some brainstorming session how you would like to have the keynote speaker. So while we were having a dessert, we didn't come to any conclusion. Then one student gets up towards the end and says, "Sir, you've had a corporate leader who was our alumnus. Last time it was Mr. Rohit Java, who is the CEO and MD of Hindustan Unilever. Then you had Mr. Deep Kalra, who is in the digital space. But you haven't got us a true blue entrepreneur who has actually started from nothing and made it big in life. And a bricks and mortar, that was what we were told. And that was a tough assignment for us. So we looked far and wide. We did not find anybody. Then I went to our go-to person, Professor Venkatraman, and he sends me on WhatsApp a news, a Business Today article headlined, "FMS graduate leaves a 30,000 rupee job to build a crane empire and is in the Forbes dollar billionaires." And when we saw that and we read that article, it was truly a eureka moment when we found what we were looking for. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Vijay Agarwal, one of, if not the most accomplished alumnus that FMS has produced, who started with nothing but a dream to build a company. And I remember when I met him once over coffee recently, he told me that in a job in Faridabad, in an old scooter, he used to, after working in the shop floor, he used to go all the way to the university on a scooter, and he then worked a 100-hour week voluntarily. And that is what happened. And when he started his corporate job, he was doing very well, especially after FMS, because he got that stamp also and he was moving fast ahead, till he gets up one morning and he says that a weekly off is better than a working day. That was the time he realized my corporate job life is over. Fueled by his dream, he said, "Let me go and start something." And he was very secure in the thought that in case his business did not take off for whatever reason, he could back up because he had an FMS MBA for a job. But fail he didn't. Today he is such a humble person, but to find him was like finding a jewel under a big rock. And when we contacted him, he is so humble. He says, "Yaar, मैंने क्या करना है? मैंने अपना चुप करके I put my blinkers on and I like to do my work. Why are you bringing me all this?" But it was by persistence that I requested him to join us, and he joined us here. I must tell you something very off the track. Recently, I was attending a dinner at my chairman's house, Mr. Onkar Kanwar, who heads Apollo Tires, and there was another guest who was none else but the L&T chairman, Mr. S.N. Subramaniam, who has been in the news. But when I met him, it was before that 90-week, controversy. So my chairman just looked at him. We were three of us at the dinner, and he said, "Mr. Subramaniam, we are inspired by what you have done because you have a 235,000 crore company and you are market leaders in everything." You know what Mr. Subramaniam replies? And that is very relevant to Mr. Vijay Agarwal also. He says, "Sir, when I took over, there was one man before called Larsen, There was one man to bro. The many chairmen came, many chairmen went. We had one chairman called A.M. Nayak before. The train was moving, everything, processes were all in place. What I did was, the engine driver got off, and I got into the engine driver's cabin, and I'm driving that same train. We have done nothing. Relevance to Mr. Vijay Agarwal is, he said, sir, what you have done and what Mr. Vijay Agarwal has done, you have created something from nothing. When you came here, there was a hill. You blasted that hill. You leveled the ground. You lay the tracks. You build the bogies. You build the train, and you're moving the train. So that is so relevant to entrepreneurs like Mr. Vijay Agarwal. And let me tell you, today it is very fashionable that I'm startup, my valuation is this, my valuation is that. But doing a bricks and mortar business is not easy. It is a difficult task. And if you ask me today, in India, Dr. Ratin Roy will testify to what I'm saying, we've had jobless growth because the growth comes when manufacturing takes off. In BRICS meetings when I go, all over the world we are always talking about what is the percentage of manufacturing in your entire basket. India has been trying for last 25 years to increase it from 17% to 25%, we've not been able to do it. But it's people like Mr. Vijay Agarwal and entrepreneurs like him who do it. You know why I say manufacturing has got more potential to create jobs? Because there is a cascading effect. Cascading effect in the sense that when somebody is manufacturing steel, somebody manufactures steel and gives him the raw material. He makes the crane. It is used for construction. People are getting jobs. So this is where what you call in economics, multiplier or cascading effect that's happening with gentlemen like Mr. Vijay Agarwal. Now, when I met him in the evening, when I went to just have a discussion on this evening, we had decided the time was 6 o'clock. And exactly on the dot, I saw my watch. At 6 o'clock, he was there. And I said, you're coming from Camellias, you just came from your apartment. He said, no, I'm driving from Palwal. There was no traffic jams that people talk of. Even my neighbor has to come to my house, he said there was a traffic jam. But here was a man who's so busy, but despite that, he is there on time. And lastly, I would say, he is what I would call a trench general. He has a very plush office. I'm told in South Delhi, he doesn't like to go there. He likes to go to his plant, which he will tell you the story about. And in the plant, he doesn't mind rolling up his sleeves and getting into the act when it happens. Last but not the least, he has the heart at the right place. We have it in the left place, he has it in the right place. You know why? He just gave me a telephone number. He said, listen, this is 1800, just dial the number. I dialed the number. This is, I'm talking from Faridabad, Palwal, someplace. Hanji, bolo, kya problem hua hai? I said, what is this? He said, nee, ambulance service. He has started an ambulance service. We talk about Delhi and all these places. Wherever he has produced and got his, factory coming up, around that, in the villages, there is an ambulance going and nobody knows about him. People like to do charity with a lot of noise. He does it silently. And for this reason, I must tell you, he has won several accolades and awards. Some of them I'd like to mention. He has been the Person of the Year, Equipment India Awards the company has got, bestseller of mobile cranes, and India's most trusted company. I now welcome our brightest star of FMS to please come on stage. Thank you. Hi. Come, sir. Please. Hi.
Good evening, Professor Venkatraman, Dean FMS, Mr. Naveen Kapoor, President of FMS Forum. I don't know what I have to talk now because whatever was possible, I was thinking he's already done everything. And this is all over a cup of coffee. So he's already, whatever I had in mind, he's already told everybody. Esteemed faculty, students, and ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to address you on this significant occasion of Founders' Day of FMS. Today, we should honor the visionaries who established this prestigious institution. We stand at the cusp of transformative changes taking place in the global workplace. The decisions we make today will shape our future and our careers. My journey as an entrepreneur began in 1995 with the formation of ACE, Action Construction Equipment Limited. Starting with negligible resources, a few dedicated workers assembling the first crane. This taught me the valuable lesson: success stems from adaptability, innovation, and resilience in the face of all types of challenges. Dr. Venkatraman asked me to share my journey, struggles, hardships from college to becoming an entrepreneur. Here it is. I'm a son of an army officer and had a fortunate schooling in all the best possible schools all over the country. I did my pre-university from J&K because my father was posted in Kashmir. I topped the university. That is in 1965. The Indo-Pakistan war was going on. My father was on the front, and there was no guidance, no advice, but I wanted to become an engineer. I took a box, steel box that Army has, dragged it, got into an Army bus, landed at Pathankot, got a train, came to Delhi. I knew BITS Pilani was a renowned engineering college. I still remember train to Lahore, then rickshaw, and I landed at the college. I flashed my mark sheet. Everything was silent there, but the office was open. The registrar saw that and he gave me admission. He said, "You're a topper." Those days, everything went on mark sheets. He allotted me a room and told me that's the mess that is working. I think there were very few students, most probably practicals or repeat classes or something like that. So I went into the room. It was a small room, one bed, one table, one door and one small window, and May heat. Anyway, engineering to karna tha, so I went in and then walked 1 kilometer to the mess that was working. And I was not used to the water dal that was serving there after walking 1 kilometer. So I did that for 2-3 days. Then I said, I'll die. I cannot survive like this for 5 years. So I ran away. I took my that suitcase, left everything. Not suitcase, really an iron box, dragged it back, got back to Delhi, and looked around. Somebody told me there's an engineering college in Gwalior. Got a train, went to Gwalior. There was no parents, no nothing at all. So in Gwalior again I got admission. That was right in the center of the city and new buildings and all. I was impressed. I said, "Idhar chalega." So I took the admission and did my engineering from there. 5 years course it was at that time. Now, I would advise everybody, plan your careers in advance. You should think what you're going to do. Don't wait, result aayega and all that. So what I did was that even 6 months before, the jobs were very scarce. In 1970, they were very scarce. In fact, engineering students held a strike and we managed to get the government to agree to an apprenticeship scheme in government for engineers and diplomas so that we would not be jobless. So I started planning. I made a priority list. 1, 2, 3, 4, kya karenge? Job, kuch na kuch karenge. So first I did was, of course, a good job in an engineering company, then maybe an MBA, then maybe going abroad for an MS, then government companies, and the list was 7 numbers, including Army. I said, nothing over the Fauj mein chale jayenge, EME and all that. So I made 500 envelopes, 500 biodatas. Like Kapoor Saab said, there's no internet and there's no photocopies, so all were cyclostyle typed and attached all extracurricular activities and sports this thing and mark sheets. big bundles. I made 500 of them, put the stamps. And every day I would go through the newspaper. See, there was nothing, there was no way to, Naukri.com and all that. So there would be an appointment page, there would be advertisements from companies. So the suitable companies, I would see, I get the HR name and address of that company, and I would post these envelopes. I got a lot of interview calls, luckily, from that. But as the result was not out, on the top of it, the jobs were scarce. So the recommendees got them most probably. I didn't get them. Luckily for me, and of course with God's grace, the company Crompton Greaves was expanding very fast. And they wanted engineers. Now, the HR was under pressure. To even recruit an engineer would take 3-4 months. You put an ad in a paper, you get postal responses, you select them, then you call for interviews, and then again they come there. So under pressure, they opened the old files. My 6-month-old biodata was there. I was called, and I got selected. I worked 4 years there. In between, and I worked with a lot of dedication. I would advise everybody, whatever you do, go to the grassroots, work deeply, learn everything you can. So that was what I did, and I had very good seniors who were really very good. All of them have become directors and all sorts of things. So I learned from them, but in between I got engaged. I got engaged to this beautiful woman sitting amongst us. Now I wanted to come from Bombay to Delhi. We were engaged for a year, so I wanted to come again and again to meet her. How to do that? It's pretty expensive. So I started applying for jobs in North India. And when I got an interview, I'd go and meet her and come back. I didn't want to join that job. One such company was Cutler Hammer. It was an American company in Faridabad. So I applied, and I went for an interview. There was a director there from America called Dave Hurst. He was highly impressed. He gave me a lucrative offer. I couldn't resist, so I joined Cutler Hammer. You must not, change jobs. Like Kapoor Saab said, 3 jobs. In the whole career, I did 3 jobs. One is this, Crompton Greaves. One is Cutler Hammer, and one is Escorts. Because unless you work deeply, unless you work there, you don't get. You're only top, working on the top, you really don't know. You're just working here and there. So please do not change your jobs. A rolling stone will not gather any moss. That's an old saying. So please do wherever you are, stick to it and achieve there. If you're right, you'll grow. So in Cutler Hammer, I worked hard, grew up there. In between, I realized that if I have to become a CEO or an MD of a company, I need an MBA degree. So I applied to this executive program, FMS, and was selected. Spent 3 years here, very tough life. Getting up in the morning at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock to the factory, in a contract bus, coming back. We were in Lajpat Nagar, 2nd floor. My wife would throw the key because we had to catch the class in time, drive to the university, and then, of course, back. After a few days, we formed a pool. I don't know, in the alumni, all those people would be there. Mr. Paul from Philips, Bhatia from Siemens, Mr. Rao was there from IDPL, and an army colonel was there, Malhotra. So we formed a pool. So every day one of us would come and we'd all come back together. Those are fun days because 5 guys in a car traveling for 1.5 hours. We were discussing cases, faculty, this, that, blah, 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 and the time would pass very quickly. In this period, I have 2 small children at that time. One was born when I was doing MBA. It was pre-planned. Like I said, plan yourself. So, yeah, so that my wife, got busy looking after the daughter, and I could study, or I went here and there. Otherwise, how miserable it would become for a married man with 2 children and then all this. So that's how it happened, and MBA was done. Of course, the faculty at that time, already Professor Venkatraman has told you, Mr. Dr. Neelam Begum, Abbas Ahmed ji, all, Dr. Anand, all were there, Dr. S.C. Gupta was there. So they really, we were imparted with a lot of good knowledge. and a lot of, what I say, practical things. There were a lot of case studies, a lot of discussions. It was really worth it. So 10 years in Katlahama, I realized that, see, that I'm a mechanical engineer and I'm working in an electrical company. So if I remain here, I'm not going to become an MD of this company. So I changed over to Escorts. Escorts was a mechanical engineering company. I got the job there. And again, worked 10 years. In 10 years, I got everything in. Design, manufacturing, purchase. I used to do things which are not mine. I help around my colleagues, learned everything, everything, servicing. And so I was working with everybody and learning everybody, day and night, 3 o'clock in the night also. And one day came after 10 years when I told my wife, "Maja nahi aa raha hai." Kya ho gaya? I said, same job, 365 days, morning job, sham ko, morning job, sham ko. This is not what I'm made for. I've got an engineering degree, I have FMS, I know everything. Why should I do this? Chutti ho ya, chutti karte hain. So then we decided, I told her I'm quitting. So, karoge kya? Maine kuch nahi, job pe aap business karenge. I told business karenge, but no money, no resources. Business requires a lot of resources. We don't have anything. She said, I can only do one thing. 6 months, I won't ask anything for the household. You have to manage. I said, that's good enough. So the thought came to make this company called ACE. And as a carpenter would only go for a woodwork, as being a manufacturer of cranes and all, I went in for manufacturing of cranes. Now, the challenge here is the resources. I had around 15 lakhs PF and savings in here and there. For 13 lakhs, I went to a place called Jhar Setli. I don't know people know Faridabad. At that time, if anybody was not behaving or, a little bit off here and there, we would say, isko Jhar Setli bhej do, because there was a mental hospital there. So, so that was the place where I got 2 acres of land for 13 lakhs. And I had no other money, so we made mud walls, a mud office, which is still there. So we put some cement on it so it doesn't fall. And that was the place. No factory, no shed. So at least the factory in the namesake started. Now, manpower. Who would join a person who has no factory, no shed? But during my tenure in my previous company, it was my general behavior, hard work, leading from the front, learn from FMS. That you must lead from the front. So I had made a lot of loyal friends, a lot of loyal subordinates. Oh, that's all right. No need. So made a lot of friends. And so some loyal, I would say rather, who regarded, respected me, 1 or 2 supervisors, few workers, left Escorts and came and joined me without anything. They had the faith that this gentleman we know. 10 years we worked along with him. So ACE started working. There was no shed, no factory. So I think everybody knows what a kharanja is. Bricks together, just in open ground. And we started assembling the crane one by one. And it was around this time, February, towards the end. It was hot, so we couldn't work there. I used to also be standing there all the time. So what we did was, we rented a shamiana, 40 by 40, shaadiyon mein jo lagta hai, and started working under it. But crane involves a lot of welding. In no time, the shamiana got burnt. So I said, we must do something. But by March end, I had made my first crane. So with that first crane, it sold at about 8 lakhs. I got some money out of it and made a small shed, Was there, I don't know whether they can show it over here, but yeah, it was a small, just shanty type of a thing. But at least it was a shade, so we could start working there. Now, you would say how you got the material. It is, again, everybody here, integrity and honesty. During my work tenure, I worked with vendors. I would help them to design, to supply, fixturing, and basically in a company like Escorts, settling the accounts, what is correct, what is wrong, no gratification, obviously, so they knew what I was. So when I started, I went to them. I said, yeah, I need material. They said, Okay, we'll give you. I said, I've got no money. They said, fine. When you have it, you give us. And they started supplying me. So I had the material without any money, and we made cranes. Soon we were making 3-4 cranes a month. Now what happened is, we started getting effective in the market. So the big fish, like you call them, eat the small fish. So big fish were JCB, escorts, etc., etc. And they decided, now we don't want this chap to survive. Everybody's going to face that. So they started creating hindrances, threatening the workers, using even police force here and there, and telling the customers, this guy is working in a ditch. Of course, there was no factory we're talking about, and such things, everything went on. Still we survived. We still carried on. Then they went legal. They went legal to an extent that I faced cases from criminal, design, patent, copyright, name it, in courts where I never even existed. Calcutta High Court, Ranchi High Court, Delhi High Court, they took injunctions against me, which I had to fight for 2-3 years without any money. They used lawyers like Chatterjee, Somnath Chatterjee's son, our Honorable Jetli Saab, Mr. Chidambaram. They were lawyers of these companies. So, though not having resources, I fought back. I had Mr. Kapil Sibal, I had, now she is of course a High Court judge, Pratibha Singh. I had this Manu Sangvi. So we fought back. In 3 years, everything got settled. And then ACE really went off. We took off. Now we know nothing's going to stop us. Then what happened is, I realized again that, look, it's not going to work because these people kept telling you're working in a ditch, there's a small factory, this, that. And there's a general perception that a corporate company is a public limited company. It is quoted in the market. So I decided to go in for an IPO. At that time, IPOs were not very preferred and very few. It was not a conducive environment for an IPO. So with a small IPO of just 69 crores, we went in and it was oversubscribed. Now we became a limited company. No longer the handicaps that we are having. And this is in brief the short story how it started. After that, there was nothing stopping us, one plant to another. Today we have got 8, 9, 10 plants, as you can see. And we have about 5,000 workers and engineers and managers on our roll. Another maybe 10,000 with our ancillaries all over the country. We have hundreds of dealerships. We export everywhere. We supply to defense. Today we are the largest, perhaps, the mobile crane manufacturer in the world. We are doing more than 1,000 cranes per month, besides other products. And we are having 65% of the Indian market. And in tower cranes, we are having about 70% of the market. In crawler cranes, again, about 70% approximately. So, though you see ACE everywhere, you really don't know the team and the hardships that have gone behind that. We must be very observant and we must see what's happening around us. That is very important for everybody here. So that's what we were doing. We were seeing what is there. I used to travel abroad, go to exhibitions. I used to see tower cranes, and there were no tower cranes in our country. So I tried to find out the reason. Yes, the reason was they're very expensive. A new crane would cost about 3-4 crores at that time. Companies like Liebherr and Potain, etc. Then I decided to go in for a product like tower crane because we started making tower cranes. Today we can sell tower cranes from 50 lakhs onwards to whatever. And most of the tower cranes, if you see carefully now today in the country, you'll find the ACE brand on it. We do around 70, 75 tower cranes every month. So same way we went for crawlers. And whatever we saw, what can be done here, which is being imported. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, look for what is being imported today. What can be, that's the right way because there's no market there today, it's being imported. So same way we're looking around, going in and tackling these products which are being imported in the country. And obviously we have to succeed. Another thing, there has to be the right time, the opportunity. You just cannot do something at the wrong time and hope that you'll succeed. I have a relation 25, 30 years back, he went in for packed soup packages. And he had taken the wholesale distributorship. But nobody was ready for all this pre-packed sort of things like Haldiram. So the whole project flopped. But now today, everybody wants it. Same way, my previous company, they were far ahead in thinking. They went in for EscoSoft. They went in for Escotel. But just a little before, and they did not succeed. They had to close those divisions. Whereas at the same time today, Infosys and Wipro have come in, and so are Telecom, Airtel, and Videocon. So this is the right moment. You must know what is happening around you. I knew very well the infrastructure is going to be the new thing for this country, and so I was concentrating on these products only, and working at the right time at the right product. I hope I have covered. One more thing, you must think only big. If you think small, you'll remain small. So always think big. Why did I call this ACE? I wanted ACE is number one, and whatever I do, I will be number one. So the name has to be number one. So I went and applied to the registrar of companies. ACE Engineering is nothing doing. There are 1,000 ACEs. We are not giving ACE anybody anymore. ACE Builder, ACE this, ACE that. So I kept thinking what to do. And finally it struck to me, action, construction, equipment. So that makes a short-term ACE. So that's what I'm trying to say. Think big. Don't think small. I had no money, but still I went for 2 acres at least. I said, no, nothing doing with a small workshop. Factory won't do the job. Decision making. What we learn in SMS, what I learned is to take decisions in that circumstances. What is around you? I'll give you an example, which some people may not like it, but I'll give you, it's the truth. We started making a backhoe loader. Everybody sees a JCB product every on the road, a backhoe loader. So what happened is, we started making it. So there was an exhibition in Germany. So Mr. Bamford invited me for breakfast. I was wondering what's the reason. Small fry, he's a big giant, worldwide. So he said, you stopped making the backhoe loader. I said, why? He said, I know what you did with Escorts. You took 65% of the market, so I don't want you to make a backhoe loader. I said, what do I do? He says, you make as many number of cranes as you can. As you can, I will sell them. I've got a huge setup. I thought for a few seconds, few moments, then I said, no. Why no? Because I said, I remembered East India Company, number one. JCB is the English company. Then I thought, what's going to happen? Today he's saying, okay, tomorrow he'll reduce the prices, ask for things which cannot be provided, and I'll have to shut shop. And I'll be away from the market forever. So I told him no. He threatened me. He said, look, I will make cranes in India, and I'll run you out of business. I just walked out. I said, sorry, sir, I won't do it. They came in and made cranes, but they could not compete with this. They sold a good number of cranes, somehow reduced prices and all, but they could not succeed. And today ACE is number one, and JCB does not make cranes. We still make backhoes. So, but that spur of the moment decision is what made the difference. That's what FMS is. It gives you that knowledge, not the formulas, not the theories, not that what decision to take in what circumstance. And I think that's what it is, sir. There are no shortcuts either. If you think that you pass to the degree from here and you'll straight away get a huge package and all, no, there's no shortcuts. It's all just in movies maybe, or maybe a couple of guys here and there left born with a golden spoon. You have to work hard to achieve anything in life. And you should make a graph, what you want to do. Plan yourself that when I retire, what do I want to be? You just cannot change jobs and things like that and hope ki jaldi ban jaye. No, you'll reach nowhere. It's not going to work. You must work hard. There are no shortcuts. And again, do the work that you love. That means it could be anything like Nilesh ji, you should do what you love. You just cannot do anything. वो कर रहा है हम भी कर लेंगे. Why I did mechanical crane manufacturing? Mechanical, I love mechanical engineering. If anybody is a mechanical engineer here, anybody here? Yeah. So what do they teach in mechanical engineering? Engines, gearboxes, tires. You get my point? Everything that can be mechanical engineering is in the construction. Hydraulics, strength of materials, steel. So that's why I go to the factory. I love mechanical engineering. So if you're a mechanical engineer, or any, I mean for that anybody, you should only do what you love. I think I've taken more time. Anyway, I hope whatever I've said today will help all of us in their careers, maybe to become entrepreneurs. And I thank Venkatramanji for inviting me over here. I'm not much of a speaker, by the way. I was very reluctant. Like I said, I work with blinkers. That's why nobody knows me. When I look at something, I concentrate only on that, not here or there. And I still work with blinkers on. These jobs, you know, these traditional jobs that we have in mind will disappear very soon. Some new, I mean, by the time you even pass out, things may change out. So you have to be ready for those challenges. That's what it is. Thank you, everyone. If anybody's got... If there are any questions, I don't mind answering, you know, because, like I said, I'm basically a practical man. Nothing? So nice. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, sir. My name is Prakrut Chauhan. I'm in the second year. It was truly inspiring to hear your journey. My question is that, sir, entrepreneurship is inherently a risky business. When you would have started your venture, you must have thought that what if this does not work out? What if I fail? Then did you ever have a plan B in any of the steps that you took?
See, first of all, when I took it up, you know, there's a thing, you know, if you can do something for somebody, you can do it for yourself, isn't it? So if you can set up a company for somebody, you can set it up for yourself. So that confidence was full there. Because like I said, 10 years is enough to know the deep things what can happen in this type of business. So I just told her 6 months and I'll be successful. So, and that thought never came. But like Navinji told you, I had that in mind also. Suppose kuch nahi ho, bad luck, never know what happens. So then I've got an FMS degree. I'll definitely get a good job. So I had no risk.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, sir. This is Pratyush, sir. I'm in the second year executive MBA. So I work for the Make in India construction team. So it was discussed here that the GDP contribution of manufacturing is around 14-15%, that the government wants to take it to 25%. So being a part of the Make in India team, sir, I want to know from you, like, what are your suggestions? Because you have seen all decades how India has grown, and in the last decade, what new reforms have come in. So what are your suggestions how to increase the contribution of manufacturing in GDP? And especially because some of the companies, rather most of the companies face the issues of relevant skills that to bring in technology into India or to increase the manufacturing footprint in India. So what are your some suggestions that you can share with us? Thank you.
Yeah. One thing I'll tell you, we have, I think they have not showed it here maybe, we have a big training school, a skill center, where we train ITIs, diplomas, our dealers' personnel, our customers' personnel, in maintenance, in servicing, in various other skills involved, welding, etc. We are tied up with a university there, Skill University. That's very close to where we work. That's a very good university in Haryana. Vishwakarma Skill University, where we are tied up with them and we issue certificates. So we are playing our role in trying to generate skill in the country. Number two, we are the only good Swadeshi construction equipment manufacturer in the country. All the other brands that you see on the road, Sani is Chinese, Schwingstetter is Chinese, Komatsu Japanese, Kubota Japanese, You name them, Samsung, I mean, whatever you see. Even Tata is Hitachi. So you understand what I'm saying? But we don't add anything. We are ACE. We are an Indian company. So, like I said, we have got top-class engineers in this country. We don't have to, join up hands. But yes, now very soon we may join hands with some foreign organizations. The reason being, we want to go into exports, and we are not known abroad, and it makes it difficult. So unless we get a foreign brand and maybe have a joint venture, we will not be able to do that. And we want to take India to the world. So when things will be manufactured here and go more, ACE will grow, and our manufacturing will grow. We mostly have local ancillaries. We encourage people to come forward. We'll give them something to make. We help them in machinery. We help them. You understand what I'm doing? This is how we are growing. We are doing that. We are not depending on just importing things and selling them in this country. Anything I can add? Yeah, we are doing that.
Hello, sir. My name is Hitesh Bansali. I am a first-year MBA student at FMS Delhi. So I have a question regarding the talk that you had today, regarding how spontaneous you were in your early ages, be it pursuing your engineering degree, when you didn't have the complete knowledge regarding what the degree is all about, going to two different colleges, and then finally setting up on one of them. And then later on in your career, where you were extremely thorough and research-oriented, be it finding your company or pursuing an MBA from FMS Delhi, because it would help you grow in the corporate world as well. So at what point in the career did the shift happen? And in your opinion, what age should one explore in and what age should one strategize in?
See, the younger the better, because the energy you can give. So I had a tough time. I was 47 years old when I left the corporate world and started my own. And like Naveenji said, just around 30,000 was the salary. It was a big amount by the time, at that time. So, but even that I left it because I was sure that I cannot, see, I was not having the satisfaction. So you must do what satisfies you. Like, you like photography, get into it and become a big photographer. Whatever you want to do, you must do that. So I love mechanical engineering, so I had to do that. But you must do what you love. Do not go and do something which you don't like to go. Like I said, when I started feeling that, yaar, kal Sunday kya nahi hai? I don't want to go and work. That's when I decided. Suppose you don't like physics, so get into chemistry here. Don't continue with physics. And that's the life formula.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, good. I thought you were bringing it to my wife. I got frightened.
Hello, sir. I'm Manoj Mahajan from FMS Delhi. I'm a first-year student there. My question was pretty specific. You mentioned that the other competitors in the market, while you were beginning, they were bad-mouthing you to the customers, that you work in a ditch and all of those things.
Yeah.
So you being a beginner in that particular industry as ACE, and others being the big players, already there's, because cranes and all are high utility product, high involvement products. How did you go through that marketing challenge? Because you said that we struggled, we got over it, but what exactly did you do to get over it?
I'll tell you, we didn't see those big companies were selling 100 equipments. I was working to sell one equipment to begin with. Now what happened is that, again, during my 10 years tenure, I used to go out of the way. If a customer's crane was not working, I would go in the night, help him out, make it work because he's losing business or losing his hiring rentals. So that was the philosophy of mine, work day and night, help the people who are your customers. So when I made my first crane, I went to one of them, "Bhai, le lena, mere pe vishwas hai," kehte, "Haan," he took it. So one by one it grew. Then you got a reference. Then you got 3 references. That's how it goes. It was not so easy. I'll tell you. Maybe the second or third cranes were being used for granite mining. Huge blocks of granite were cut and these cranes were used to tumble them and take them out. That was the biggest market. So I said, yeah, that's the biggest market. I'll have to go there. So I landed in Bangalore, took a cab to Dharmapuri, Krishnagiri, some also Naxalite invested type places, because the grand mines were going on at that time in that area. Now, this particular customer was also the biggest liquor dealer of that place. So I landed there. Nobody would understand anything English or Hindi. I roamed around. I asked for that guy's address. Nobody would tell me. They couldn't understand, and they ignored. Even if they knew, they ignored Hindi. So what happened is then I saw a Hero Honda showroom. I said the guy here would definitely be talking English. So I went to him. I got the address. I landed there because he was a liquor dealer. He landed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Of course, he knew me because I'd been helping him here and there all the time with his equipments. So I told him, you have to buy my crane. He said, okay. Tomorrow morning, 5 o'clock, I go to my mines. So you come there. I went there. A small, such a rich guy, a small, house he had. No drawing room and all. Just a bed lying outside. Takhat rather. Beto, bed gaya. He brought one sack full of money. He says, here's the money, give me the crane. I'm joking. You understand the way of working business. Yeah. But I was desperate. So I said, okay, I will give it now. I'll manage it. Of course, I told some colleagues there and friends here and there, found them. I said, you take this and give me the money. So that's how it works out. So one by one, it increases, one by one. I remember going to a place called Mandi Govindgarh in Punjab, sat on a charpai, with a one steel rolling mill guy. Subah se leke sham tak convince kiya usko, sold it to him. That's how it grows. So there's no shortcut. It's a lot of hard work, blood and sweat, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, sir. So I wanted to ask, you have been working with a very high integrity and high trust orientation. And perhaps that is what has helped you get through those tough times. But I wanted to know, when your competitors or other people are using these sort of tactics and they're playing these games basically, how do you deal with them? And is it that, what do you find? Is it the integrity that gets in the way of dealing with it, or does it help you actually?
Nowadays, maybe the integrity gets into trouble with them if you're working there. But you see, like I told you, the vendors, for example, they start loving you, because they're businessmen. They find this gentleman in this organization is helping us out, and no gratification. So they understand you. In 10 years, they really understand you very well. They become your friends rather. So that helps you everywhere. Even the workmen, even the managers, the loyalty, you don't do politics. In big companies, there's a lot of politics, for example. So they understand this guy, what he talks sense. It happens like that. So if you're having integrity and honesty and desires, I don't think it worked for me anyway. I'm here standing in front of you, maybe the biggest mobile crane manufacturer in the world. And just in 30 years, mind you, from scratch. And maybe very soon we may become very big also, the way we are thinking, planning. We are talking of multiplying in 5 years to at least 3-4 times what we are today. No, not satisfied?
I'm satisfied, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, last one.
Sure. Good evening, sir. My name is Gaurav Kulkarni. I'm a first-year student in the full-time program. Sir, you mentioned regarding the 3-year phase in which you faced a lot of court cases. You also mentioned you did not have a lot of money. So how did you face this adversity, and how did you go about approaching the lawyers whom you wanted to represent you?
See, because I didn't have money, I had a very junior lawyer. Of course, he was practicing in High Court. So when he found we cannot tackle, because in the court, face value is very important. All that has already made me a lawyer. I mean, no, I've not done LLB, but and I used to always go myself to every date. I didn't leave it to anybody, ki lawyer kar lega, because that's how it was. But yeah, the money at that time was not so much. Maybe a good lawyer of that caliber was, my competitor was paying 3 lakhs per hearing. I was paying 1.25. They knew my case. It was all sympathy, friendship. The lawyer I had would approach them and tell them, Karlo saab, dekhi jayegi, that type of a thing. So I ended up by paying about 1.25 lakhs per hearing. That I had to manage. There was no way out if I had to survive. And when you have a will, you have a way, they say. So that worked out gradually. It happened. In 2-3 years, truth prevailed. But you can't give up. You must breast the tape. You understand what I'm saying? Breast the tape. You find two guys, one guy loses, the other guy just does and becomes a champion. So you can't give up at the end. Most of the people give up at 99%. When they just have to breast the tape, they say, oh, thak gaya, nahi hoga, hamare bas ka nahi hai. Those are the failures. Therefore, only 1% succeed. So don't give up till the end. If you have confidence, you will win.
Thank you, sir.
I think dinner is something. That's why she's telling me, get on now. Pardon?
We have a video to be played. Can we see to it? Yeah.
Video?
Yes, sir. You can take your seat. Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for showering us with your wisdom. While this evening we were ready to know about the future, it is great that you brought up how the past of workplace was and how far we've come to be here. We have a small video to be played as a token of our gratitude. I now welcome the Honorable Dean to join us in the stage. I also request Mr. Naveen Kapoor and our Honorable Dean to present a memento to our keynote speaker, Mr. Vijay.